Morning everyone. Today I am going to tell you about the United Nations Charter. United Nations organization was established after the Second World War. Actually, after the failure of the League of Nations, which was created in 1920, the Second World War also came in 1939 with the invasion of Germany to Poland. Okay, so the world as a whole witnessed very dangerous and very devastating two wars, and the losses that incurred by the human society was immeasurable, and the losses of family, property is also beyond imagination. So that is why, after seeing the destruction and devastation by the people of the world, they came together and created the United Nations organization. And the United Nations organization has, like every country in the world, having a charter, which is the guiding force and which is the highest law in the world. Okay, so I would like to say today about the Charter of the United Nations. The charter came into effect from 24 October 1945. So I am going to tell you about, at first I'll tell you not all, I'll tell you about the General Assembly and Security Council, because this organization, United Nations organization, is having 6 main organs. Those are number one, a General Assembly; number 2, a Security Council; number 3, a Economic and Social Council; number 4, a Trusteeship Council; number 5, International Court of Justice; and number 6, Secretariat. Right. So I'm not going to tell you all those things, because in this situation, when Russia-Ukraine war is going on, when Israel has attacked Gaza, and Hezbollah is also throwing. Hezbollah has also very recently joined with Gaza. So the international crisis is going on. There is the peace and security in the world has been destabilized. Our peace and security in the world has been worsened, and the life, property, and peace and prosperity of the world as a whole has been disturbed. That is why, in this situation, I would like to say what is the role being played by the United Nations and the Security Council, which is the policing organizations of the world. So mainly I will give importance or emphasis on the role and functions of Security Council, and where are the lapses and what should be taken, what measures should be taken by the world leaders, or restructuring of this global body. Right. At first, like India, there in the Indian Constitution, in the preamble, it says that we, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India as a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic. Right. Similarly, there is a preamble of the UN Charter. What is said there? There they say they have drafted, or the Charter mentions that we, the charter, the charter, the preamble of the charter begins with these words: "We, the peoples of the United Nations, determined to save the succeeding generations from the scourge of war, which twice in our lifetime has brought untold sorrow to mankind, and to reaffirm faith in fundamental human rights, in the dignity and growth of the human person, in the equal rights of men and women and nations large and small, to establish conditions under which justice and respect for the obligations arising from treaties and other sources of international law can be maintained, and to promote social progress and better standards of life in larger freedom, and for the ends to practice tolerance and live within peace." Where Ukraine and Russia is living in peace, where Gaza and Israel are living in peace, they are not living in peace, right? And the world as a whole, many countries in the world, though there may not be war, or there may not be battle, people are not living in peace. The security of person, the human rights are being violated regularly every day in the world. So with one another, and good neighbors, and to unite our strength to maintain international peace and security, these two words I will give more emphasis, that what is the end no, for these ends, what what the United Nations want to do, the United Nations wants to unite our strength, strength of the United Nations to maintain international peace and security. International peace and security. Remember, once again I am saying international peace and security, and to ensure by the acceptance of principles of the institutions of methods that armed force shall not be used. Armed force shall not be used. What did Russia do? What did Israel do? But before that, what Gaza did to Israel? So armed forces are being used initially without adopting the peaceful means like negotiation, peaceful settlement, arbitration, all those things. Those methods has been mentioned in the United Nations Charter are being violated by the powerful countries in the world. Right? So to unite our strength to maintain international peace and security, and to ensure by the acceptance of principles of the institution of methods that armed forces shall not be used save with the common interest, and to employ international machinery for the promotion of the economic and social advancement of all peoples. Right. Having resolved to combine our efforts to accomplish these aims, accordingly, our respective governments, through representatives assembled in the city of San Francisco, who have exhibited their full powers found to be good and due form, have agreed to the present charter of the United Nations, and do hereby establish an international organization to be known as the United Nations. Right? Now, chapter 1. Chapter 1 says about the purposes and principles of the United Nations. Article 1 says says about the purposes of the United Nations. What are the purposes of the United Nations? Let me say before you. Number 1, to maintain international. At first, Article 1 begins with the words international, to maintain international peace and security. International peace and security. And to that end, to take effective measures for the prevention and removal of threats to peace. Threats to peace even also they want to remove. Okay, and for the suppression of acts of aggression or other breaches of peace, and to bring about by peaceful means and in conformity with the principles of justice and international law. Adjustment or settlement of international disputes or situations which might lead to a breach of the peace. Number 1. Number 2, to develop friendly relations among nations based on respect for the principle of equal rights and self-determination of the peoples, and to take other appropriate measures to strengthen universal peace. Number 3, to achieve international cooperation in solving international problems of economic, social, cultural, or humanitarian character, in promoting and encouraging respect for human rights and for fundamental freedoms for all without distinction as to race, sex, language, or religion. And number 4, to be a center for harmonizing the actions of nations in the attainment of these common goals. Article 2 says about the organizations, says that the organization and its members, in pursuit of the purposes stated in Article 1, shall act in accordance with the following principles. Number 1, the organization is based on the principles of sovereign equality of all its members. Sovereign equality of all its members. But where is equality? Where is equality between the United States of America and Bangladesh? Where is equality between Soviet Russia and Ukraine? Where is the equality between Gaza Strip, or you can say Palestine and Israel? There is no equality actually, but here it is mentioned that there will be, the organization is based on the principle of sovereign equality of its members. Where is equality? My questions are, where is equality? Why only 5 members will be the permanent members of the whole life? For whole life, why these 5 countries will be the members for whole life, entire life? of the United Nations. It cannot happen. So there must be a change. That's number one. Number two, all members, in order to ensure to all of them the rights and benefits resulting from membership, shall fulfill in good faith the obligations assumed by them in accordance with the present charter. Number three, all members shall settle their international disputes by peaceful means, in such a manner that international peace and security and justice are not endangered. It is written in law. Here in India also so many laws are there, but those laws are not being implemented. There are so many rules, there are so many laws, but those laws are not implemented. Recently in a program, a conference, 3-day conference, 24, 25 and 26 of HDC, Human Development and Capacity Association, is being held in Science City in Kolkata. In that meeting, I was talking one professor of the United States, and he was saying to me that they have he has, in their department, they have started teaching one subject, policy implementation. And I said that it is very much necessary for those people here who are implementing agencies in India, like the block development officers and district magistrates, right? So, and the same thing is necessary for the United Nations. But how to implement the policies? The policies are there, the rules are there, but what and how those policies will be implemented, right? So I say that where is peace in Ukraine, and where is peace in Russia? Even many people in Russia are also in problem. They are in trouble. They are in anxiety. They are not happy. They are not in peaceful state. Okay, where is peace in the minds of Lebanon people, and where is peace in Gaza? Even where is peace in Israel itself? Because many protests are arising in Israel itself. Right. Number 4. So all members shall refrain in their international relations from the threat. No country in the world can use threat or use of force against the territorial integrity or political independence of any state, or in any other manner inconsistent with the purposes of the United Nations. Number 5, all members shall give the United Nations every assistance in any action it takes in accordance with the present charter, and shall refrain from giving assistance to any state against which the United Nations is taking preventive or enforcement action. Number 6, the organization shall ensure the states which are not members of the United Nations act in accordance with those principles so far as may be necessary for the maintenance of international peace and security. Number 7, nothing contained in the present charter shall authorize the United Nations to prevent in matters which are essentially within the domestic jurisdiction of any state, or shall require the members to submit such matters to settlement under the present charter. But this principle shall not prejudice the application of enforcement measures under Chapter 7. Okay. Chapter 2 talks about the membership of the United Nations. I'll just tell in brief about the membership. Article 3 talks about the membership of the United Nations. It says that the original members of the United Nations, you see here where it has been membered, it is said that the original members of the United Nations shall be the states which, having participated in the United Nations Conference on International Organization at San Francisco, or having previously signed the declaration by United Nations on 1st January 1942, sign the present charter and ratify it in accordance with Article 110. How many countries were there initially? 51 countries were there in 1945. So there are 55 founding members in 1945. The founding members of the United Nations are the countries that were invited to participate in the 1945 San Francisco Conference, at which the United Nations Charter and Statute of ICJ, International Court of Justice, was adopted. You see, who were the permanent members of the United Nations? Only 5 countries are the permanent members. Who are they? United States of America, France, United Kingdom, and Soviet Russia, China, And how many countries I said? United States of America, number 1, number 2 France, number 3 China, number 4 United Kingdom, and number 5 Russia. So these are the allied powers in the Second World War. On the other hand, the Axis power were who were mainly Nazi Germany and fascist Italy, and then Japan, Poland, and some other countries, and some other countries were there who were in the no, not Poland, who were in the Axis power. So those Axis powers were removed from the permanent membership of the United Nations. Here, those 5 countries who were initially the members, of the allied power, became the permanent members. They became the global powers. They became the global government heads. These 5 countries, and they are having veto powers. Veto powers means if in any dispute of where international peace and security is breaking, if any country gives its veto power, if it says that no, I am objecting, then the policy will not be implemented. Maybe all the other members, all the 15 now the 5 are permanent members of Security Council, and 10 have been other taken as non-permanent members. So but I will tell you in detail later on, right? Okay, so now let me say what says Article 4. Article 4 says that membership in the United Nations is open to all peace-loving states which accept the obligations contained in the present charter and in the judgment of organization are able and willing to carry out these obligations. Number 2, the admission of any such state to membership in the United Nations will be affected by a decision of the General Assembly upon the recommendations of the Security Council. Okay. Number 5 says that a member of the United Nations against which preventive or enforcement action has been taken by the Security Council may be suspended from the exercise of the rights and privileges of membership by the General Assembly upon the recommendation of the Security Council. You see, article says that a member of the United Nations against which preventive or enforcement action has been taken by the Security Council may be suspended from the exercise of the rights and privileges of the memberships by the General Assembly upon the recommendation of the Security Council. You see, here the 5 permanent members are 5 permanent members. Suppose in case now in the present situation, Russia has invaded Ukraine. So, but United Nations or the Security Council particularly could not take any action against Russia. So, if they cannot take any action, then you see which preventive or enforcement action has been taken. The preventive or enforcement action could never be taken by any 5 permanent members of the Security Council, because they are the most powerful country. When there will be a resolution against them, and their permanent representative in the Security Council will remain silent. Can it happen? So if it cannot happen, then there can never be possible with these setup to maintain international peace and security. Only the powerful countries will attack, or powerful countries will create and spread their hegemony on the small and medium income countries in the world. So that is why the other countries, 103 countries of the United Nations, almost all countries, either explicitly or implicitly, are talking about the reformation of the United Nations, particularly the Security Council, right? Okay, so let me tell about Article 6 of the Charter. A member of the United Nations which has persistently violated the principles contained in the present charter may be expelled from the organization by the General Assembly upon the recommendation of the Security Council. But where in the Security Council Russia is sitting as a permanent member, how will you expel? They have it has, or the Russia has a veto power. Is it possible? Can the United Nations Security Council has the right to expel, or any procedure to expel Russia or any peace-breaking country? Now, peace-breaking country by all the 5 permanent members of the United Nations or the Security Council will never be possible. So here lies the fault. Here lies the fault in root. Okay. Chapter 3 talks about the organs. Yeah, everybody knows, all the students of political science knows that United Nations Organization is having 5 main or principal organs. These are a General Assembly, a Security Council, an Economic and Social Council, a Trusteeship Council, an International Court of Justice, and a Secretariat, right? And the subsidiary organs, it may be created as it is necessary. Article 8, I am not talking, but I am then coming to the General Assembly. I will give a brief introduction of General Assembly then, but my focus will be the Security Council. Okay, composition of General Assembly, that is mentioned in Article 9. The General Assembly shall consist of all members of the United Nations, and each member shall have not more than 5 representatives in the General Assembly. There may be 5 representatives, but every member will have one particular one vote. One nation will be one vote. Okay. Article 10 says about the General Assembly may discuss any question or any matters within the scope of present charter or relating to the powers and functions of any organs provided for in the present charter, and except as provided in Article 12, may make recommendations to the members of the United Nations or to the Security Council or to both, or any such questions of or matters. Article 11 says that the General Assembly may consider the general principle of cooperation in the maintenance of international peace and security, again international peace and security, including the principles governing disarmament and of regulation of armament, and may make recommendations with regard to such principles to the members of the Security Council or both. Article 11(2), Section 2 says that the General Assembly may discuss any questions relating to the maintenance of international peace and security. May discuss, yeah, you will discuss and discuss, but nothing, you could do nothing. You could do nothing in maintaining international peace and security, because the 5 most powerful nations are there in the Security Council, and with their veto powers. Okay, and I will say about that there in Article 11 there is number 3, point number 3 says that the General Assembly may call the attention of the Security Council to situations which are likely to endanger international peace and security. Yes, the General Assembly is doing, because prior to the attack of Russia, when they have when Russia what I say, when Russia put their army almost 1 lakh military, but at that time the General Assembly, the Secretary General of the United Nations came to the Security Council and told about that, and he expressed his anxiousness and what is the anxiety, and similarly the Security Council took emergency meeting. Many meetings they undertook, but there was no any fruitful solution to that could deter Russia from attacking Ukraine. Okay. Number 12 says, I am not saying about that, not in this way. So many provisions that they are in the UN Charter that says about international peace and security. But despite all those things, international peace and security is not being implemented. Peace and being the United Nations and the Security Council is failing, particularly to settle disputes through peaceful means, without adoption of any violence, or without adoption any arms and ammunition. Okay. Number 18 says about voting of the United Nations General Assembly. It says that each member of General Assembly shall have one vote. Okay. And the decisions of the General Assembly on important questions shall be made by 2/3 majority of the members present and voting. The questions shall include recommendations with respect to the maintenance of international peace and security, the election of the non-permanent members of the Security Council, and the election of the members of the Economic and Social Council, the election of the members of the Trusteeship Council, and in accordance with paragraph 1c of Article 86, the admission of new members to the United Nations, the suspension of the rights and privileges of membership, the expulsion of members, questions relating to operation of trusteeship system, and budgetary questions. Now, I am not going about saying proceeding, that I am not saying about the proceedings of all those things, but I would put more emphasis, most emphasis on Security Council. Okay, Security Council, its composition is said in Article 23. It says that the Security Council shall consist of 15 members of the United Nations, the Republic of China, France, Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, the United Kingdom of Great Britain, and Northern Ireland and United States of America shall be permanent members of the Security Council. The General Assembly shall elect 10 other members of the United Nations to be permanent members of the non-permanent members of the Security Council. Due regard being specially paid, number 1, in the first instance, to the contribution of the members of the United Nations to the maintenance of international peace and security, number 1. Number 2, to the other purposes of the organization, and number 3, also to equitable geographical distribution. So, these are the 3 things which will be considered before giving membership to a non-permanent membership of the Security Council. Okay. Number 2, the permanent members of the Security Council shall be elected from a non-permanent members shall be elected for a 2-year term. In the first election of the non-permanent members, after the increase of membership of the Security Council from 11 to 15, 2 of the 4 additional members shall be chosen from a term of 1 year. Okay. And now, most important thing is that functions, powers and functions of the Security Council. Article 24 talks about the powers and functions of the Security Council. Number 1, in order to ensure prompt and effective action by the United Nations, its members confer on the Security Council primary responsibility for the maintenance of international peace and security. So, for maintaining international peace and security, the United Nations has conferred the entire responsibility to the Security Council, and agree that in carrying out its duties under these responsibilities, the Security Council acts on their behalf. Number 2, in discharging these duties, the Security Council shall act in accordance with the purposes and principles of the United Nations. The specific powers granted to the Security Council for the discharge of these duties are laid down in chapter 6, 7, 8 and 12. Okay. Article 25 says that the members of the United Nations agree to accept and carry out the decisions of the Security Council in accordance with the present charter. Article 26 talks about that in order to promote the establishment and maintenance of international peace and security with the least diversion for arrangements of world's human and economic resources, the Security Council shall be responsible for formulating, with the assistance of Military Staff Committee referred to in Article 47, plans to be submitted to the members of the United Nations for the establishment of a system for the regulation of armaments. Okay. And voting, yes, in terms of voting, every member will have one vote. Okay. And there is a point in number 3 that says that decisions of the Security Council on all other matters shall be made by an affirmative vote of 9 members, including the concurring votes of the permanent members, provided that in decisions under chapter 6 and under paragraph 3 of Article 52, a party to a dispute shall abstain from voting. Okay, but a party to dispute Russia was a party of the Russia-Ukraine dispute, and then how can Russia be kept out of the meeting of the Security Council? Was there any provision? No. But I would say, what is there in Article 52? Article 52, column 3 says that the Security Council shall encourage the development of specific settlements of local disputes. This is local dispute, Russia-Ukraine local dispute, okay, through such regional arrangements or by such regional agencies, either on the initiative of the states concerned or by reference from the Security Council. This article no way impairs the applications of Articles 34 and 35. Okay. Procedures, it says about the procedures. Article 28, the Security Council shall be so organized as to be able to function continuously. Each member of Security Council shall for this purpose be represented at all times at the seat of the organization. So all the members of the Security Council always remain present there in the United Nations Security Council. Okay, but what are they doing? They are failing to maintain peace and security in the world. That is why I say that peaceful settlement, there are so many arrangements of peaceful settlements which has been mentioned in Article 33. It says that that the parties to any dispute, the continuance of which is likely to endanger the maintenance of international peace and security, shall first of all seek a solution. What are means? There are 9 means. Okay, number 1, negotiation; number 2, inquiry; number 3, mediation; number 4, conciliation; number 5, arbitration; number 6, judicial settlement; number 7, resort to regional agencies or arrangements; or number 9, other peaceful means of their own choice. Despite all those things, there is no stop of there is no stop of war, there is no stop of battle, there is no violation of international peace and security and violation of human rights from the world. So with these I would like to conclude here. I say that the Security Council shall be modified, and all the members of the United Nations should come forward to modify the formation or the composition of the Security Council and the functions of both Security Council and General Assembly, so that it can be an effective organ. India should become a permanent member of the United Nations. Though many countries are approving that India should become a permanent member of the Security Council, because India's policy is non-violence, non-interference in others' affairs, and or settlement of problems through peaceful means. Our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi is speaking about this in different international fora. That is why I say that India should come forward and India should become a permanent member, or India should play the main role in settlement or in peaceful settlement of all disputes in the globe. With this, I would like to, and with this hope, I would like to conclude here. Right? Thank you very much. Thank you.